In part one of this series, we covered expiring cards. You can check out that video and that article to go over that. So we've got expired cards, cards that are expiring handled. Now we're going to start talking about how do you handle declined cards. And there's three things that play into this. The first one is you have to make use of Keap Billing Automation Triggers. We'll go into the four that you need to use for that. I create one Keap automation, used to be called campaigns, to handle those. And so each of the four triggers gets handled by a campaign. I like to keep my automation triggers simple, mainly because most people are used to using automations and the triggers are things that are a little bit obscure. You can put a lot into the billing automation triggers, but I just think that's not a good practice. And then finally, you have to have a My Accounts page, and we're going to go into how to build a My Accounts page using some Memberium shortcodes that help you get the job done. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to share my screen. So here we're going to start off with billing automation triggers. So in the previous lesson, we went over these these automations for expiring cards. Now we're going to create one automation trigger for the first decline, another automation for the second decline, and then a third automation for the third decline. Now I have my Keap configuration configured so that we try the card 3 times, and that's as many times as we're going to try. I have them typically spaced out 2 days apart so that over a week's time you're trying the card. You might consider spacing them out every 3 days so that you're trying it over a week and a little bit more. Gives you a little bit more time to do this collection. It's really up to you and your business, but keep in mind, if a person's card is not good today and they miss your email or they ignore your email when you notify them, there's something keeping them back from paying. So you might want to drag it out, and if they have access to your material longer than necessary, it's probably not the end of the world. My goal would always be, how do we keep them as members? So let's look at the first one here. So the first payment declines. This, you set it up so that when an auto charge fails, and it fails for specific products, so you can create different triggers for different programs. I've got one program that I'm handling it, and there are these 6 options. So there are 2 subscriptions, a monthly and a yearly, and then another subscription with a monthly and a yearly option. And I want to make sure to handle all of them exactly the same. So when I get the first failure, all I'm doing is triggering a card decline tag. And I call this a trigger tag because it's triggering an automation. We're going to go over the automation in a moment. So that's the first one. And you'll see that these all work pretty much the same. The second one, it specifies the products, failure number 2, and then there's another tag that gets triggered. Third one works the same. And then this last one's gets triggered differently. So this one says, when an auto charge is successful and the previous invoice was a fail. So there was a decline situation, and now you're trying to capture that someone paid. We're triggering it with another one. So this is here in place to trigger the automation that I'm now going to go over. So I like to call my automation manage card declines and member cancellations. In the next lesson, we're going to be going over how to handle member cancellations, so you're handling those elegantly. So when that tag gets triggered, it starts here. I immediately turn the tag off because I want to make sure that if this happens again next month, the trigger is going to occur. Because you remember, a trigger tag only starts a sequence if it's going from off to on. If it's on and then you tag it again, it doesn't cause the sequence to start. So then what I'm doing is I'm tagging it with a decline number 1. I just am placing a marker on the contact record so anybody seeing that can know that a decline's already happened. Now, I got into the habit of applying these notes because especially if you're looking at declines in an account over time, the automation traces will run out. You won't see them forever, but these notes will last forever. And they can be handy both for customer service and for your own debugging. So then we send out this message. And this message, I like to keep them simple. Hey, your recent payment was declined. And then we have an update payment information. What I'm doing here is I've created a Memberium auto login link. So if you go in here, you'll see that this is an auto login link. And I don't want to scroll over here because you'll see the private codes here. But I'm auto logging them into the page where they can update their credit card. So I'm trying to make this as dirt simple as possible for them so that there's no reason for them not to do it. And what I'm going to show you now is I've got this email that I sent to one of my test accounts. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to open this up in an incognito window because I'm using my window to go into the site, and I'll show you that in a moment. So I'm going to open up an incognito window, and this is logging them in. They don't really know what's happening under the covers, but it's going to take them right to the My Account page. Now, I've got this link here, which will scroll them right down. And then using Memberium mem add card, I think that's the, let me just check the, what is the, well, I'll show you now. Using a Memberium shortcode, it's allowing them to add a new card, and this card then will be added to the Keap contract record and will be used to charge for this subscription that hasn't been paid. Or I give them information about the card they already have on file, and they can, like, let's say, I don't know, it expired and they wanted to update it or whatever. It's just two options that they can use to correct the problem. So once they add this, it updates the record. Keap will charge the subscription, assuming it goes through, and then that will trigger the success campaign. Now, I'm going to walk us through this My Accounts page in a moment, but I want to go back to the campaign that we were looking at. No, not there. I have a bunch of windows open here. Okay, so here we are back in the campaign. So I'm going to jump out of here. So this is what the decline number 1 does. Decline number 2 does exactly the same thing. It just gives them a decline 2, and it does a note that says it's decline number 2. Now, number 3 looks the same in this first part. This is taking off the trigger tag. This is tagging them with decline. So nothing there changes. The message does come up and tell them, hey, you're suspended for now. So unless you do something, you can't get in. And then what we do is we do whatever's necessary to remove their access. This happens to be a subscription that gives them a package of 8 courses. So we remove those and then we wait for 25 days. I do it for 25 days because I want to keep it inside of the 30 days when the subscription will charge again. I don't want the subscription to continue to generate invoices. That's just going to cause a mess. So we're giving them 25 days. We're not telling them that to correct the problem. They can use the link that they received to fix the problem. They can log into the website and update their credit card that way. But if they don't, after 25 days, we cancel their subscription and then we give them a tag. This is remove all course access. So I have another campaign that really removes all their access. So they can now no longer log into the site and gain access to anything. So if they want to go back in, they have to start all over again. The one thing you do have to make sure is that when you remove these tags, you still give them, I want to say a basic login tag so that we can get them to that the My Accounts page for them to update things. Now, if they do come up and receive the payment, this one gets triggered. And this one restores their access. And this one is really undoing the 8 tags from before. And then we want to also remove those decline tags so that no one looking at the record thinks that they're in the process of being, declined or canceled. But we also want to make sure to put a tag here. So this is the same tag, trigger payment received, that starts this. But we want to make sure to stop this suspend, because they're waiting for 25 days. And if a payment comes in on the day 10, we want to pull them out of here so that they don't lose their access. So this is how the campaign is configured. And this runs very nicely. Now, I want to finally go into this page right here. I want to show you how we built this page. So I'm logged in here as an administrator. And this is the page. So I'm going to go in. This is a page that we built with Elementor. You can build it any way you like. It's the short codes that I'm going to be showing you that are important. We're almost there. So, this is information. They can update their password. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you how we use this to allow members to cancel their membership. We award certificates for finishing these courses, so that allows them to do that. But this is where we take care of this. Now we're using the same short code. It's add credit card, and this is the add only option. So by adding this parameter, it doesn't allow them to update their card. So by doing that, it leaves a blank page for them to fill in. This one is set to the default of yes. This one I think is set to default of yes as well. So that doesn't matter, but it does not have the add only. So the way Memberium handles this is it grabs the card that is going to be charged, or the card that we've been trying to charge, so that, let's say the decline was because, I don't know, maybe their zip code changed or their address changed. They can update it here. That will notify Keap that a new card or new card information has been done, and it will then charge again to try to see if it can collect on that. This is pretty much what it takes to handle a decline. There is a lot of, I call, tedious steps. But if you pull these all together, it provides a very elegant solution to manage declines. So stay tuned to part 3. That's where we're going to be going over how to allow members to cancel their memberships and how do you handle it so that it just runs very nicely.